everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter, and I am here with a Christmas gift card holder card for you. And I'm going to be using some dies from Lifestyle Crafts today. I have them set out here. This is the bow die, and it actually comes in a gift set called the Naughty gift set. I'm also going to be using these two label dies. They're from the Nesting Labels Rectangle. And then this little banner or fishtail ribbon in type die is from the Tape It kit. So I'm going to start out by cutting all of my pieces first. I'm going to cut the larger of these two labels out of the red along with the bow, and I'm going to cut the smaller label out of some black cardstock. Now these cardstocks are all from Stampin' Up. I have Real Red, Basic Black, and Old Olive here. So I'm going to start out and I will just bring in my Evolution machine. And I have my Genius cutting platform here, and it is magnetic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with the red. I have the most to cut on this red piece, and I'm just going to lay out my dies as best I can to make them all fit. And these go blade side up. So I'll just lay those all there. Now I know my dies aren't going to move because that is a magnetic plate underneath. I'm going to set my cardstock over the top of those dies, and then I will slide my A cutting plate in here, and I'll just crank that through my Evolution machine. Okay, so I have all my pieces cut out here, and I'm going to start some of my assembly and stamping. I can set these three little banner pieces aside. I can also set this aside because I'm not going to be stamping on it. And I will start out by assembling my bow. Now, because this is such a thick cardstock, I really do recommend paper for these bows, but I didn't have any red paper that I wanted to use. So since it is such a thick cardstock, I am going to use just my stylus here and kind of break down the fibers in this paper to make it easier to assemble the looped part of this bow. So I'm just running my stylus. Anything round will work, a pencil, the barrel of a paintbrush, anything will work. And I'm just going to do that. Now I'm also going to break down the fiber a little bit in this stem here, because I am going to have to wrap it around and I don't want it to crease as much. So once I've done that, I can go ahead and I'm just going to use some glue dots to put this bow together. And so I will place one on the inside of each of these tips. And then these just fold to the center. Tuck my glue dot in there, just like that. And then I'm going to put another glue dot on the back of this and put that right in the center of this base piece. And then one final glue dot will go right here, and this center part wraps around. And I kind of wrapped it loosely. And then I have my bow all assembled and ready to go on my card. I'm going to bring in this black piece here, and I'm going to be doing some stamping on this. I'm going for a chalkboard effect. And so I have this Hero Arts chalk background stamp here, and I'm going to be using the Color Box, let's see, Frost White pigment ink. And I'm going to just ink up the stamp, and then I will place my black label face down on that stamp, and then I'm going to use a piece of scratch paper and just rub over the top to press that ink into the black paper. I really didn't care for the way this stamped on the first stamp, so what I did is, without inking up the stamp, I went ahead and flipped this piece over and re-stamped it. And I am going to just add a little bit of this ink to the edges of this black piece, and then I'm just going to take it and kind of smudge it in with my fingers. I have my chalkboard background effect done, and I am going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. I'm going to be using the Mama Elephant. Let's see what these are called. I have no clue what they're called. I will link them over at my blog so you can check this out. Oh, it's called Mama Elephant Merry Greetings, and I'm going to be using this Merry, 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 Merry stamps sentiment here. And then this also is going to stamp on this in some of the Colorbox Frost White pigment ink. Now remember, when you're using a pigment ink, it does stay wet a little bit longer, so you want to either give it plenty of time to dry or you can heat set it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and mount this onto the red piece of cardstock here, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on some foam dimensional tape. I'm using the Sticky Thumb adhesive squares. And remember, when you're mounting a piece like this, that you do want to go ahead and put some foam tape in the center as well, so that you don't have that saggy middle. I've cut some white Neenah cardstock to 2 3/4 by 8 1/2. I'm going to be making a kind of odd size card. I'm going to, it comes out to about 1/2 of an A2 size card. So this is 8 1/2 by 2 3/4, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. So the finished card size will be 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, and this is going to be a top folding card. Go ahead and just crease my score line with my bone folder. This eventually is all going to mount on the top, but in order to get this on here the way that I want it, I'm planning on being able to add a gift card in behind this. And you guys have probably seen me do this before, and it's one of my favorite ways to add the gift card onto the front of the card. I'm going to go ahead and flip my gift card on the back side of this, and I'm going to create a channel using my foam dots. So I will just make sure that this is fairly centered and add some foam dimensional squares along the bottom. Now the bottom ones are to keep the gift card from sliding too far down. So you can see that on the top of this, you still are able to see the gift card, and the recipient knows that they can pull it out. In fact, I'm going to maybe move these down just a teeny bit more also. Now I'm going to take the little teeny foam squares here along the sides, and I'm just going to add some to create the rest of this channel. I'll go ahead and remove the adhesive backing on these, and then I can mount it to the front of my card. Now I've gone ahead and mounted this slightly towards the bottom because I knew that my gift card would stick out the top a little bit, and I didn't want my gift card overhanging the top. My points do kind of stick out on the side, but I'm okay with that. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in my bow that I already have assembled, and I'm going to attach it to the front of this card using another foam square. You could use a glue dot for this too if you wanted it to sit a little more flush. And since I'm going to mount the center on a foam square, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of foam adhesive on the just inside here. My next step is going to be to add these little banners here, and my idea is just to kind of have them at varying lengths kind of peeking out from underneath this bow here. So I'm going to go ahead, and I know that they're too long, I'm just going to trim the tops of these, and I'm just going to use some regular tape runner adhesive to adhere these together the way that I want them. It looks like they're a little long still, so I'm going to go ahead and trim off the tops again. This little glitter strip is actually adhesive backed, so I'm going to use the adhesive that's already on the back and just kind of adhere that down. And since that is adhesive backed, it's giving me a little bit of problem with the adhering of these, so I'm just going to use some glossy accents to hold these in place. I'm going to finish off this card by adding just a few of these little gems. These are the Michaels brand Recollections, and they're called rhinestones, but they are not rhinestones at all. You may have seen me use them last year. They're a very almost just enamel dot kind of type thing, and I'm just going to add a few of these to the bottom of the card just to finish this off. Okay, and so here is my finished project, a fun little mini card. This is kind of cool because you can open up and write your message to the recipient here, and you can include your gift card on the front here. just sliding it into that channel that you've created with your dimensional adhesive. I hope you enjoyed this video. For information on any of the products used in my video, you can head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. And don't forget, you can use the coupon code GLITTER at shopweare.com to get 20% off your order there. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.